Good morning, Year 2. Welcome to our next English and topic lesson. So today you won't need to write the date or learning objective as you're not going to be working in your book. But today, the date is Tuesday the 9th of February 2021 and the learning objective is prepare a speech or presentation. So first of all, Year 2, I just wanted to say a huge well done to you. You created some incredible mind maps which show how you've already begun to develop your ideas for your product outcome. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this develops over the next couple of days. So well done for all of the effort that you've put into your learning already this week. I am so proud of you. So today, we are going to develop a resource to use for our speech or presentation in remembrance of Grace Darling and to raise awareness of the Rnli. We're going to take great responsibility of this by flying high and trying our best. So I'm going to share with you a few ideas of how you might like to approach this, but please be creative and engage in conversation at home or in the classroom around how you would like to approach this, as although I'm sharing a few ideas, I'm sure you've got some better ones. So please, I really encourage you to be independent with coming up with your own ideas on how you approach this. So, like I said, be creative. You could present verbally using your words. You could use note cards if they are supportive. So little pieces of paper or cards to look at with some short notes on that might help you with remembering what you'd like to say in your speech. You could use a poster, which I think might be quite a popular option, as I know many of you love drawing and colouring. And this would create something visual to share with the audience as you're talking to them. For the same reason, you could also use pictures, perhaps pictures you can retrieve offline if you've got a printer, or you could use drawings. So for example, when you're talking about who Grace Darling was, you could show a portrait of Grace Darling. So again, this is totally up to you what you choose to do. You could use drama to act out a scene. So when you're talking to the audience about what the Rnli does, you might act out sea rescue, or you could also use this when retelling the story of Grace Darling, showing her bravery as she was rowing out to bring home the survivors. You may also choose to do a PowerPoint presentation. And I know in the past with home learning, this has been quite a popular thing to do. If you choose to use the computer today, either for a PowerPoint presentation or by creating a poster, you can focus on our Year 2 ICT skills, which we were focusing on leading up to Christmas. So you could focus on your word processing skills, so your typing and how to use a keyboard. You could focus on changing font colour and size. And I imagine we'd see this when thinking about the difference of the heading and the text below. You've had less practice with this next skill, but you could also focus on copying and pasting images to add to your poster or presentation. So when using this skill, we need to be thinking of right-click copy, right-click paste, okay? So what I'm going to do with you now is share an example of a PowerPoint presentation. But like I say, please take your own spin on this today and do whatever you would like to help you with presenting tomorrow, okay? So I'm going to stop my screen share now and share the presentation with you, just for an idea of what it might look like, okay? So I'm just going to start the slideshow from the beginning. So on my title page, I've written product outcome to remember Grace Darling and raise awareness of the Rnli. And our big question this term is, how can we protect others? And I've written my name there, Miss Heard, as it's been created by me. If you do choose this option to support you with your speech, you could record it using a phone, of course being next to the screen, but you could also record it using Zoom like I'm using at the moment if you're up for the challenge. If this is something you would like to do, I'm going to share the instructions with you tomorrow, okay? But there's no pressure to do that. That's just if that was something you really wanted to do. I know sometimes we all love to act as the teacher, don't we? Okay, so my first slide, I've used questions as the heading. And as you can see, I've enlarged the text for the heading and I've changed the colour as well. Who was Grace Darling? How did she protect others? What can we learn from her? So this is where your mind map will be really useful today, as you've already been collecting ideas around these questions. Okay, I'm going to share with you the text that I've written. You can see that I've included quite a lot of text, which would probably be a next step for me to think about so that it's still eye-catchy for the reader. I probably want to reduce the amount of text I've got. But I'm someone that finds it very useful having lots of writing there to help me with what I want to share with you. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you now. Grace Darling was one of the Victorian era's most celebrated heroines. On the 5th of September 1838, Grace Darling saw a shipwreck from her bedroom window at 4:45 a.m. and ran to the telescope to search for survivors. It wasn't until 7 a.m. that it became light enough to see there were people on the rock. In terrible weather, Grace and her father William decided to row out and rescue the survivors. They rowed for almost a mile to reach them, fighting against the ferocious waves and powerful wind. They could see several people moving on the rocks and realized they would have to make 2 trips to rescue them all. Eventually, they brought 9 survivors who had been clinging to the rocks safely back to the lighthouse. Grace Darling and her father William risked their lives to help others. Grace Darling was given a silver medal from the Rnli for her bravery, and that's what you can see in the picture here on the top right, probably just below my face. She instantly became a Victorian heroine for saving lives through being selfless and courageous. So by the word selfless, I mean she put others first before herself. Who are the Rnli? What do they do? How does the Rnli protect others? So as you can see here, I've changed the font colour again. Rnli stands for Royal National Lifeboat Institution. The Rnli is the charity that saves lives at sea. They are a charity founded upon and driven by their values of selflessness, courage, dependability, and trustworthiness, with volunteers at the heart of what they do. Every day of every year, people of all backgrounds get into danger in the water. It's a problem that they're here to tackle. Today, with your support, the Rnli are working harder than ever to end preventable drowning. In addition to their 24/7 search and rescue lifeboat service, they operate a seasonal lifeguard service. Every year, their volunteer lifeboat crews and lifeguards help and rescue thousands of people and have saved over 143,000 lives since 1824. Countless more lives are saved through our youth, their youth education and water safety work. So how can you support the Rnli and help protect others? Okay, I'm going to share this slide of my presentation with you now. As you can see here, again, I've changed the font color. I've also used bold black font in the middle, and I've copied and pasted some pictures, okay? So how can you support the Rnli and help protect others? They are a charity that saves lives at sea. Will you help them today to save someone's tomorrow? Here's a few ideas of how you can support the Rnli. You could make a donation, and you can make a donation in a few different ways. For example, you could make a one-off donation, or you could make a monthly donation. It would be amazing if you could promote the Rnli, just like I am at the moment, to raise awareness of the amazing work that they do. So through your passion, help spread the word. You could also engage with fundraising. And here's a few ideas. You could do something crazy with your hair. This is me in presenting mode, by the way, year 2, pretending you're my audience. So you could do crazy things with your hair. You could grow it really long. You could cut it off. You could, if I'm talking to, remember I'm talking to my audience, you could grow a moustache. You could also hold a virtual quiz night. So there are many ideas. I've taken these ideas from the Rnli website. Okay, so that are the ways you could help the Rnli. So year 2, this is the end of my presentation. Okay, so as you can see here, I have used 1, 2, 3, 4 slides. Okay, so just to reinforce, when I was talking on this last slide, that was me in model mode, demonstrating how you might present rather than asking you directly to make a donation. Okay, so that's just an idea of how you might go about your presentation, year 2. Okay, so please spend the rest of today's session within your hour of English focusing on developing a resource to help you with your speech or presentation tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you produce, year 2. Have fun.